Have you ever wondered what makes a bowling ball just plow through the pins? Or how a car's crumple zone actually works? Well, it all boils down to one of the most fundamental ideas in physics, momentum. Today, we're going to break down exactly what it is, how it moves from one thing to another, and why getting a handle on it could, one day save your life.
When you see a cricketer just wallop a ball like this, you're seeing momentum in its purest form. It's not just about how fast the ball is going. It's about the sheer quantity of motion it has packed inside it. That's the real oomph behind the impact.
So, what is this unstoppability I'm talking about? I mean, why does a bowling ball rolling at, say, 5 miles an hour feel so much more powerful than a tennis ball going the same speed? The answer, my friends, is momentum. All right, so here's the plan. First, we'll nail down what momentum actually is. Then we'll look at something called impulse. After that, we'll get into a universal rule about momentum that never, ever changes. We'll see it in action with collisions and explosions, and finally, we'll see how all this physics helps keep us safe. Okay, first things first, what exactly is momentum? Let's get to the core of it, because this is really the basic building block for understanding how things move.
So, at its heart, momentum is pretty simple. It's just an object's mass times its velocity. But, and this is a big but, it's a vector. That just means direction is a huge deal. A car driving north has a totally different momentum than the exact same car driving south at the same speed. And that little detail, it becomes absolutely crucial when things start crashing into each other.
And it all gets captured in this beautifully simple little equation, P equals mv. Momentum equals mass times velocity. It tells you everything you need to know. More mass, more momentum. More velocity, you guessed it, more momentum. That's exactly why that bowling ball is so much harder to stop than the tennis ball.
Now here's where it gets kind of wild. Check this out. A tiny little bullet, just 0.01 kilograms, flying at 300 meters per second, has a momentum of 3. But a big 6-kilogram rifle kicking back at only half a meter per second has the exact same momentum. It's this incredible balancing act between how heavy something is and how fast it's moving. So, you've got an object with momentum. How do you change it? How do you stop it or get it moving in the first place? Well, that brings us to our next piece of the puzzle, the power of impulse. Changing an object's momentum is like a two-part recipe. First, you need a force, a push or a pull. But the force by itself isn't the whole story. The other key ingredient is time, how long that force is applied. You put those two together, the force and the time, and you get what's called an impulse. And it's that impulse that actually changes the momentum. And here it is in equation form. Impulse is just force multiplied by the change in time, but what's really, really important here is that the impulse is also equal to the change in momentum. So if you want a big change in momentum, like say hitting a home run, you need a big impulse. And you can get that by applying a huge force for a very short period of time.
Now, this whole idea of changing momentum leads us straight to one of the most profound laws in all of physics. Seriously, this is like the universe's golden rule for how things move. We're talking about the unchanging total.
This right here is the principle of conservation of momentum. It basically says that in any interaction, a crash, an explosion, anything, as long as no outside forces are messing with it, the total amount of momentum in that system before the event is exactly equal to the total momentum after. Momentum can get passed around between objects, but the total amount never, ever disappears. It's conserved. Let's make this real. Imagine we've got this 60-kilogram truck moving along at 3 meters per second. So its momentum is 180. It's about to hit a second, smaller truck that's just sitting there, not moving, so its momentum is 0. That means the total momentum of our little system before they hit is 180. Simple enough. So after they collide and stick together, that law of conservation tells us the total momentum still has to be 180. It has to be. But now their combined mass is 90 kilograms. So what's their new velocity? We just divide the momentum, 180, by the new mass, 90. And we get 2 meters per second. They have to move off together at exactly 2 meters per second. That's not a guess, that's a prediction. That's the power of physics.
Okay, this rule isn't just for toy trucks. It applies to everything. So let's look at some bigger, more dramatic examples. Let's talk about collisions and explosions.
Think back to that rifle and bullet. Before it's fired, the whole thing is just sitting there. Total momentum, 0. Then, boom, the trigger is pulled, the bullet flies forward with a whole lot of positive momentum. But for the total momentum of the system to stay 0, the rifle has to kick backward with an equal and opposite amount of momentum. That kick you feel in your shoulder,
That's conservation of momentum, live and in person.
And this principle is exactly how a rocket works. You've probably seen this yourself if you've ever let go of an inflated balloon and watched it zip all over the room. The rocket shoots hot gas out the back with a ton of momentum in one direction. To keep the total momentum conserved, the rocket itself has to get an equal and opposite push of momentum forward. It's not pushing against the ground, it's pushing against its own exhaust.
Okay, this is where it all comes together in a really practical way. We can actually use everything we've just learned about momentum and impulse to design things that keep us safe. So let's talk about slowing down safely.
Think about catching a really fast cricket ball. You do this without even thinking about it, right? You pull your hands back as you make the catch. Why? Well, you're being a brilliant physicist. The ball has to go from high speed to zero, so its change in momentum is fixed. But by pulling your hands back, you're increasing the amount of time it takes to make that change happen.
And this is why that little trick works. Look at the equation. The force of the impact is the change in momentum divided by the time you take. So, since the change in momentum is a set number, if you make the number on the bottom of the fraction, the time, bigger, the force you feel on top has to get smaller. It's a simple move that makes a massive difference to the sting of the impact.
And this isn't just for sports. This idea saves lives every single day. Car crumple zones, they're designed to do exactly this, to fold up and extend the time of a collision, which reduces the force on the people inside. Seatbelts that stretch just a tiny bit, same reason. Even the sand in a long jump pit is there for one reason, to increase the athlete's stopping time and soften the landing force. It's all about impulse.
So we have covered a lot of ground. What are the absolute must-know key takeaways from all of this? Let's do a quick recap.
All right, 4 things. 1. Momentum is mass in motion, P equals mv. 2. If you want to change momentum, you need an impulse, which is just force applied over time. 3. The big one. In any isolated system, the total momentum before and after an event is always the same. And 4. The life-saving tip, to make an impact hurt less, you have to make the impact last longer.
So there you have it. Momentum isn't just some abstract thing in a physics textbook. It's a fundamental rule that shapes everything from a game of catch to a rocket launch. It's always happening all around you. So the real question I'll leave you with is this. Now that you know the rules of the game, how could you use momentum to your advantage?